Okay, so I wanted to drop some more teachings in another little short masterclass, and really this masterclass is on uh, taking the training wheels off, because like in everyone's journey to ride a bike, there has to be a point where you've got to be released, right? And you've got to develop that sensory acuity to be able to kind of navigate and operate that bicycle on your own, under your own steam and under your own balance. And we're at a juncture right now where those training wheels are coming off, right? So when those training wheels come off, the thing is, if you've been practicing enough, you don't even realize they've come off. And there is a wonderment, a moment of wonderment that happens where you think, oh, wow. uh, I didn't realize you'd let go, and I was actually able to ride the bicycle on my own and operate it under my own faculties, under my own steam. And we're at that point right now where I'm letting go, and you're going to carry on riding under your own steam, knowing full well that you have my support and backing, but you're still capable, perfectly capable of doing it all by yourself. And that's the whole point. The whole point is about personal liberation. It's about allowing you guys to spread your wings, to fly, and we're at that point right now. So there are some teachings that I want to add to that, which I'm going to go through. So just bear with me as I've got some references here to some um, content that I want to share with you. So there's during the process of taking the wheels off, there's something called psychological flexibility. All right. Psychological flexibility. Now, what I want to go through is psychological flexibility is the ability to respond to obstacles successfully and in a way that is congruent with your personal standards. Essentially, psychological flexibility is about moving towards chosen goals, even when it's emotionally difficult. You acknowledge and accept your emotions, but they don't control you. Okay. So just, I want you to be mindful of that, because we all have those moments where we think, can we do this? Right. Uh, so I want you to get out of that, right? And do it anyway. A bit like riding the bike, you know that someone's supporting you, you don't realize when they've let go, and you're just riding as if they're still there, but not even aware that it's all you. And this is the thing, it's all you. When you're, lifting weights at the gym and you've got somebody spotting you, and the spot is like, it's all you, just keep going, just keep pushing, right? And then the spot might just have a tiny little touch on the bar when you're doing a bench press or whatever it might be. And just to maybe just give you that psychological support. But 99.999% of that effort is all you, right? And the spotter knows that, because there's hardly anything there. Just by putting the fingers there and giving the impression that you're assisting them, psychologically gives them an advantage to keep going, right? So we're in that position right now where we want to kind of carry on going, right? Now, there's another little thing I want to add, teaching I want to add to that, right? And this is on actually starting to move into the space that you want to be in. And really is to understand your true power starts when you step into courage. Okay. Courage is the key point to everything, right? It's Courage is a level of empowerment. It's a zone in which exploration, accomplishment, fortitude, and determination happens. Okay. At lower levels of consciousness, right? You may feel hopeless, sad, frightened, or maybe even frustrated. But courage brings with it excitement. it brings with it challenge and brings with it stimulation. Okay. So if you focus on the positive aspects of things, your conscious state rises and it will counteract any of the negative emotions that you might have at the same time. All right. Courage also implies that there's a willingness to try new things, deal with new challenges that life brings, whether it's in your personal life or your professional life. In this case, we're talking about, your businesses. And at this level, you're able to cope with and effectively handle the opportunities that life is pointing in your direction. Okay. Again, courage. Courage brings the energy to learn new skills, which you have been doing. It brings with it growth and education. And those goals that you want to try and aim towards start to become attainable, right? It brings with it a capacity to face fears, a character and the and or character defects that you may have that might have been holding you back, right? Such as anxiety, right? Which will no longer cripple your endeavor. So bringing back to the point, courage is the first true point of power. Now, people that do live in courage are in a place where they want to put back into the world. Now, the work that we're doing is about putting back into the world, helping raise human consciousness to make a better life better for everybody, make the world a better place to live in, as well as helping people to kind of realign themselves to a higher version of themselves, to their own higher self. At lower levels, you may feel drained. You rather than giving to the world, giving to society, you're actually draining energy from the world. You're draining energy from people. You hear the phrase energy vampire. Well, courage prevents you from being an energy vampire because now you're not taking energy away. You're not sucking energy from somebody or anyone in particular. You're actually giving energy out. All right. And as a consequence, um, it will start to result in a positive feedback loop. That positive feedback loop will start to help you feel a sense of self-reward and self-esteem. And progressively, that becomes reinforcing where productivity will really start to show its colors. Okay. So courage is the first step. Then with courage, you will start to notice that it will also start to bring new levels of self-assurity. And the second step that I want to talk about is willingness. Okay. Willingness. So courage and willingness. So willingness is a higher state of consciousness even than courage, right? So courage is getting yourself out the way. Willingness is now starting to put yourself into that position, right? Now, willingness is a gateway to your higher self. And it's the growth when you're in a state of willingness is rapid, right? So your will and the intention behind that is really crucial. It helps you overcome inner resistance to life. It helps you to become a committed participant within the endeavor that you're committing yourself to. Um, People that are lower state of consciousness, that are below willingness, tend to have more closed minds. Okay. But people that are in the state of willingness or above tend to have more open minds, therefore are more open to more opportunities. So when you get into a state of willingness, what you're going to notice is doors start opening, opportunities start presenting themselves, things start falling in your lap. All right. So get into the state of willingness. And that's where people start to become genuinely more friendly, more social, and economical economic success starts to follow automatically as well, right? So be mindful of the power of willingness. When you're in a state of willingness, people are naturally willing to contribute to the good of society, right? So the work we're doing is for the good of society. Um, they're more willing to face any issues they're having and any learning blocks they may face. At this level, self-esteem starts to become innately high. Okay. So courage starts to help you increase your self-esteem, but willingness keeps it high and keeps it growing higher. Um, and again, that reinforces your positive feedback from society, which will help you attain recognition, appreciation, and reward. Willingness is born out of your sympathetic nature. Okay. So, and your responsive needs to other people and how you can help them. All right. So be mindful that the work that you're doing is 100% aligned to the betterment of other people. Uh, Willing people are builders and contributors to society with their capacity to bounce back from adversity and learn from experience. And they also have a quite a unique trait in which they are self-correcting. In other words, you're learning as you go along and to refine your ability to be the best teacher you can, the best guide you can, the best trainer you can, the best coach you can. Okay. And that also comes with the ability to let go of pride and ego. At the level of willingness, people become excellent students. So, as a teacher, you are also an eternal student, right? As they say, uh, once a once a teacher, always a student. And you also become easily teachable as well. And it's really important as a coach that you are easily teachable or you are easily coachable because that means you can continue to learn and grow. And and being easily teachable is a considerable source of power for society as well because you can learn and grow as you progress on your journey. Bruce Lee, had a beautiful quote, and he said, "The key to immortality is first living a life worth remembering." Now, I like to say, to live a life worth remembering, immortality really lies in leaving a positive transformational imprint in people's hearts, minds, and souls. Okay. Now, your heart, your mind, and your soul is literally etching things into your spiritual imprint. Now, that is eternal. It literally is eternal. So, when you do that work, you are literally living a life worth remembering by etching your positive imprint in people's immortal being, their spirit. So be mindful that the work that we're doing is really powerful. It's so powerful that you are making and affecting people at such a deep level. Now, the last little lesson I wanted to share with you is um, the lesson around four freedoms that you can achieve as a consequence of the work that you're doing. Okay. Work that is aligned to who you are, your purpose for being on Mother Earth, uh, your servitude in the world to help others rise and tap into their ultimate potential. And the four freedoms, they are really the four freedoms about value, right? About value. And value, if you want to define value, value is wealth and freedom. Okay. Because freedom comes with wealth and wealth brings freedom with it. Okay. You can't have one without the other. And there are four types of value and quality that you can cultivate. Number one is the value and quality of your time, all right? How you use your time. Now, people say, oh, you've got to work really, really hard, right, in order to attain a certain thing. Well, there might be initially a point where you're working in a sprint to get to a certain point where a lot of energy is going into that. It's not sustainable for months and months and months or years and years and years. You will get burnt out. But for a short period of time, a week, 2 weeks, you can work on something with intense, urgent intensity to push something over the line. But ultimately, it's there to attain a level of freedom within your own uh, life, and that comes with the values and qualities, right? So you can then spend the time where you want to spend it after that, once you've invested that initial time. The second lesson is the value and quality of money, right? Because with freedom comes wealth. And with wealth, money is part of wealth. But there are different types of wealth, right? Money is just one part of the wealth. But you also have wealth of the richness in the life that you live and having the choice to live it the way you want to live it. Because when you have number one, the value and quality of time, and number two, you have the value and quality of money, you got choices to do whatever you want to do when you want to do them because you got the time to do it and you have the money to do it. Okay. Number three, right? Three is the value and quality of relationships. If you've got no time, then you ain't got any time to commit to any relationships or to give anybody else any undivided attention. If you don't have money, then you can't do the things that you want to do with your partner, right? To make your life more experiential and create more memories. But when you do have that, you start to enrich your relationships as well. That's number three. And number four is the value and quality of your overall purpose, right? Alfred Korzybski said, we are meaning making machines. In other words, as human beings, we need a reason to live. We need a purpose to live. We need a meaning to live, right? But when we live in service of others, our sense of purpose shoots through the ceiling, okay? And when we have that level of sense of purpose, now we're living in a higher way, okay? We're living in a higher state of consciousness. So when it comes back, when we bring that back to the beginning, it starts with the courage, and that courage will elevate you to willingness, and willingness will elevate you to action. Okay. As Bruce said, you know, knowing is enough, not enough. We must apply. Willing is not enough. We must do. And really doing is really the key thing. Okay. In order to attain those four freedoms, the four freedoms of value and quality of time, money. I'll repeat that again. The four freedoms of value and quality of time, money, relationships, and your overall purpose in life. Right. So I want to close up here and uh, you know, release the training wheels, and you will realize that you're flying on your own.